We are back live with our fourth set of the night. That was a long best of three right there, Roller Coaster. What do you think about that matchup we just had?
That was crazy, man. The ally switch reads. Yeah, I see saying in the chat that the misses were pretty unfortunate, but yeah, it was really cool to watch.
A lot of craziness going on.
Want to thank Waze45 for following. Wait, Costa is fighting him. No. You're fighting me next round, DJ Prime. I'm commentating this match, but want to thank Waze45 for the follow. I know exactly who you are. They don't want name recognition, I believe, but thanks, man. We appreciate it. Also, hope to see you again in person one day. But we're gonna go on to our next set.
Using that Paris trap, Sandaconda.
Oh, is that Paris?
No. That's not now. I was talking about.
Yeah. Waze45 with the Sandaconda tech. All right, so this is Banditti versus Bees, I believe. Yeah, that is right. Waze45, the face of San Antonio VGC, is here in the chat. But we got a couple of cool teams here. Bees seems to have Zapdos, Grimmsnarl, Kartana, Tapu Fini. I can't believe I just blanked on that name. Dusclops and Escavlier.
Shiny Selena, thanks for the follow.
And then Banditti has Heatran, Urshifu, another Celesteela, another Grimmsnarl, Rillaboom, and Lapras. So what do you think of these teams, Nibs?
Well, you know I love to see the Lapras, and you know I love Grimmsnarl. I also love Rillaboom. I just love these teams, man. These teams are awesome. I do see on Bees, though, they have two Pokemon that are 4 times weak to fire, which is pretty scary, especially when there's a Heatran sitting on the other side of the field.
Yeah, those 2 4 times fire weeks, and typically you see like Assault Vest is a common item for both of them. Bees doesn't have any way to set up the rain except for maxing Tapu Fini and going for a Max Geyser. But it could be something like Focus Sash on the Kartana. I imagine that Escavalier is probably going to want to sit on the bench for this one, though. Ebenezer, you've been enjoying Series 7? I've been having like mixed results. Like sometimes I enjoy it, sometimes I just keep getting thrashed, but maybe I just need to get better. What do you think of this series so far, Nibs?
I'm really enjoying it. It reminds me a lot of, a lot of people know, you guys know specifically that I took that like 3-year hiatus essentially from VGC. And this reminds me a lot of like right before I left. I was actually having a lot of fun with Pokemon before I ended up like just not playing anymore. And this is kind of like reminding me of every bit of why I actually loved Pokemon and competitive in VGC.
Yeah.
Very fun.
Yeah, you're having mixed results. I think like no one's, maybe like people are struggling to figure out like really consistent teams, so it feels like there's a lot of things that just like lose automatically to other things. But let's get into this match right now. Bees has sent out Zapdos and Grimmsnarl. This is becoming a very popular lead, and Banditti has Urshifu and Rillaboom. So there's a lot of options right on the back. Obviously, both of these Pokemon are pretty threatened by Zapdos. Something like a Max Airstream is either going to just KO the Rillaboom or take Urshifu down to Sash if it has it. And then Grimmsnarl has a lot of options here, like stuff with Fake Tears. We've seen the Trick Full Incense gimmick. Gimmick seems like an unfair term. It's a pretty consistent thing. But Trick Full Incense is a really common move. So a lot of kind of threatening pressure from that Grimmsnarl Zapdos lead.
Yeah, absolutely. So, do you think fake out pressure is on here with this Grimmsnarl, or do you think this Grimmsnarl might not have it?
Fake out's becoming less and less of a common move on Grimmsnarl, so I would say I'd be inclined to say that it didn't have it. A lot of them are running like Spirit Break, Trick, maybe a screen or two. and fake tears, especially with Zapdos, to get the extra boost on special attack. So Bees is gonna Dynamax Zapdos, get really big, probably start getting speed control with some Airstream boost, while the Grimmsnarl is going to go for Rillaboom goes for a fake out, trying to prevent the Grimmsnarl from doing anything like tricking or anything like that. Airstream comes out into the Celesteela. That was a great switch in. Celesteela obviously being resisted by that, still takes almost half damage, so that's not too shabby for a max move. And Light Floor Chip comes out from the Zapdos.
Yeah, that max Airstream did a lot of damage to that Celesteela. I know you're probably pretty impressed by how little it did, but I mean, half health to a Celesteela is pretty big.
Yeah, half health into a Celesteela on a resisted move. That's good damage. Potentially, this could be like a more offensive Celesteela. Not entirely sure about that. Okay, well, looking at the team preview just there, seeing weakness policy, I am inclined to believe that the Celesteela is more offensive than defensive. But like I said, Zapdos really commonly carries fire moves, so like, you really got to get these switch-ins and like pivot moves right, because Zapdos is going to put on a lot of pressure here.
Absolutely, and obviously this Zapdos is a heavy hitter, as we saw that damage output. Got to assume that it's more of an offensive Zapdos. Mm-hmm. And we do see the light screen come from the Grimmsnarl here, so it is going to be screens, Grimmsnarl. Grassy Glide's going to come out from the Rillaboom. Does a good chunk of damage into the Grimmsnarl. Airstream from the Zapdos comes out, targeting down that Rillaboom. Going to go ahead and just get the one-hit KO.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Heatran came into Celesteela trying to bait a potential max flare from Zapdos. A lot of them carry Heat Wave to save it, but Bees just decides to pick off the Rillaboom real quick, seeing as how they know that one of the only other things in the back is also flying resist, or flying weak. And now Thunderbolt into the Heatran seems super free. Heat Wave or Max Flare into the Celesteela also seems super free. Fake Tears Thunderbolt. Yeah, like I think you just kind of have to like pick which spot you want to blow up and go for it. Yeah, Prime pointing out that Zapdos kind of has a really good matchup against the team.
Yeah, absolutely. And as you mentioned, the Grimmsnarl Zapdos combination is starting to get more and more popular, and this is exactly why that happens. Mm-hmm. And this time from Banditti, we are going to see the Dynamax come out. It is going to be a Beast Ball, so that is going to end up meaning that it's the Celesteela that's Dynamaxing, and at half health, mini-sized, it's going to be essentially at full health if it were smaller.
An excellent way to put it, Nils. Fake Tears comes out from the Grimmsnarl. Mm-hmm.
Oh wow! So great prediction there from Bees. As oh my goodness, and it does live on one, so it is the Focus Sash that it is going to hang on by. So great call there by Bees. Maybe predicting the max guard, maybe not. Either way, it does go ahead and kind of get Dant to waste the turn of Dynamax as it goes for the max guard, and we do see a flash cannon come out from the Heatran targeting down that Grimmsnarl, but not quite enough to knock it out. So great turn there from Bees.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely agreed. Potentially like not super worried about what Celesteela could do, but now that the max has been successfully stalled out, a reverse sweep could happen, because while Zapdos does seem to match up really positively against the rest of the team, if something like Kartana and Escavalier are in the back, Heatran goes through those really easily. Yeesh. Plot twist discharge. That'd be really funny. Ooh. Fake Tears and Thunderbolts just gets the clean knockout onto that poor Celesteela.
I don't know if it really needed to do the Fake Tears after seeing that damage output from the resisted attack in the first place. But the Zapdos is going to dodge the Heat Wave coming from the Heatran. Grimmsnarl not getting so lucky, and it is going to see the end of this game. And we do see that it is the Urshifu in the back for Banditti.
Yeah, that's I mean, unfortunate KO and really unfortunate dodge. Tapu Fini comes out, which the Urshifu just can't do anything against. It's something like a Thunderbolt into Heatran and a Moonblast in the Tapu Fini just seems super safe and just like an easy way to wrap up. And I don't really see a way that Banditi's going to be able to pull back from this.
Yeah, I agree, Rollercoaster. That being said, is there any major adjustments that you think Banditti might need to make going forward? I don't mean to speak a little soon, but I think you might be right.
Oh, okay. Thunderbolt went into the Urshifu though. Poison Jab, which usually means that it is a choice-banded Urshifu, almost gets the KO on the Tapu Fini. Earth Power comes out, gets the knockout, so with a critical hit, but yeah, if Heatran's just super low, even if like the two, Kartana.
I don't see it being possible, Rollercoaster.
Yeah, they're just too low. Can you dodge Thunderbolt somehow? Can Heatran also be Flash Fire and Volt Absorb at the same time? I think that's what the win con is. Thunderbolt's going into the Urshifu to finish it off. Heatran's slower than Kartana, right? Yes, it is. Okay, cool. Just need to confirm that. And Kartana's going to pick up the Heatran.
I think, Rollercoaster, I think the game may have ended one turn sooner if Bees ended up switching in Kartana instead of the Tapu Fini first.
Yeah.
It gets the terrain boost if the target is grounded, correct?
Okay, so it depends on the terrain. So like, electric terrain and psychic terrain and grassy terrain will boost the damage if the attacker is grounded. So if like you're a Kartana,
so that didn't make a difference anyway.
Yeah. The only like kind of exception to that rule, misty terrain protects the target because the mist is swirling around you to reduce the power of dragon moves. And then the other exception is rising voltage specifically affects if the target is grounded. So like Zapdos can carry rising voltage.
Oh, so rising voltage is very, very yeah, I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, very unique.
Yeah.
So I'm not entirely sure what major adjustments that need to happen. I assume that you probably want to bring your own Grimmsnarl and kind of get your screen set into place. Maybe like a screens the thing that's kind of scary is if it's like fake Tears Grimmsnarl and Lapras, you can potentially like fake Tears and max resonance the Zapdos to try and get the one-hit knockout. But that leaves you vulnerable to something like a fake Tears and a max Lightning, which I'm not entirely sure if Lapras can survive because Zapdos is very, very strong. But
not from a Life Orb Zapdos. I don't see that happening.
Yeah. But honestly, like if Banditi can just kind of find a way through this Zapdos, I think they can manage to take the game. And this could be a way. So setting up a screen with Grimmsnarl and going for attack with your Celesteela, maybe getting a Beast Boost along the way.
Where's Adam? Where's Santacos?
Yeah. Like this is offensive Celesteela. Maybe it can do it. Maybe it can take out the Zapdos. Bees going for the max on the Zapdos. No reason not to. Have to be Iron Ball in order. Yeah. So Zapdos would have to be Iron Ball in order to get benefits from electric terrain, but because Rising Voltage only doubles the damage if the target is grounded, it can still run Rising Voltage and get like the 140 base electrical attack as long as it's hitting grounded to the Pokemon, which is cool.
It looks like we are going to see another Dynamax here, as it is going to be the Celesteela from Banditi.
Yeah.
So both of our players opting a more speedy tactic this time around, where they are both going to just go ahead and straight up Dynamax turn one.
Fake Out does come out from this Grimmsnarl, flinch to prevent it from setting up a screen or anything like that. Max Lightning comes out into the Celesteela. Oh, God! That did so much.
Holy cow. That was insane.
Oh, Jesus. Zapdos is so strong. But on the plus side for Banditti, weakness policy is going to trigger. That was not a crit. That was just how much damage Zapdos does. Max Rockfall is going to come out. And because there's no screen, because Celesteela is a +2, this gets the KO on Zapdos. So,
well,
yay?
I don't know who is in better position here. I think that Banditti is probably in better position, as I think their main goal here in this situation was to get rid of Zapdos, and here we are.
Yeah, Zapdos is no longer on the field, so success. Like I said, Zapdos really seems to be the major thing that's giving Banditti trouble. They still have Rillaboom, and they still have Heatran. Well, I don't know exactly what's in the back. I think a lot's going to determine on the speed stats between these Pokemon, because if Banditti like sets up a screen, or if Banditti can move before the Grimmsnarl and get the KO, they can probably position themselves pretty well for the end game. Yeah, Rising Voltage turns into a 140 move.
So I think Bees has to kill Celesteela here.
Yes.
Like, I don't think they have any.
Fake Tears comes out, so that gives you a really good shot. Yeah, we get the special defense drops onto just a couple of crying Grimmsnarls, dropping special defenses everywhere. Scald comes out, which leads me to believe that is a Choice Specs Tapu Fini, and does get the knockout onto the very, very low Celesteela, which makes things complicated now. And potentially gives Bees a way back into it, and Banditti kind of needing to work a little bit. Banditti does have the Rillaboom, and so they are going to be able to go for the knockout into the Tapu Fini. Usually when I see Scald on a Tapu Fini, that to me means that it's Specs. It's not really common. Muddy Water is usually taken on like the non-Specs versions, like the Leftovers and the Citrus Berry. What do you think, Nibs?
It's kind of hard to say. I mean, as you're mentioning, Scald is not very common. It is usually Muddy Water, but maybe Bees is just somebody that hasn't had accuracy luck with Muddy Water.
It can be very frustrating. Might as well just go for the 100% accurate move. Kartana does come out to take the Grassy Glide, which leads me to believe it is indeed Specs. Reflect comes out from the Grimmsnarl, and Spirit Berg comes out from the opposing Grimmsnarl. They get some nice solid. That's really good chip damage.
Yeah, absolutely. So the switch into Kartana here, I think you did just mention that almost guarantees that it is more than likely at least Choice Specs on the
Yeah, usually it's better to just, like, when Max is no longer on the table, you can pretty safely just protect to scout what your opponent wants to do. But a hard switch like that makes me think that it is indeed, what's the word I'm looking for? Specs, yes. Now, I mean, like, things aren't looking bad for Banditti. You could Grassy Glide the Grimmsnarl. You still have your Heatran in the back. You just need to make sure that you preserve your Rillaboom, which Kartana doesn't really have a fast way through Rillaboom.
Yeah, so we do see Kartana come out. It is going to be the Heatran coming out. Smart Strike comes out from Bees. It does hardly any damage. It's resistant.
Breaks the Focus Sash though.
That's
Drain Punch from Rillaboom. Gets some health back and does good damage. Spirit Break into the Heatran, which does drop the special attack, but I think even at a -1 special attack and a light screen, I bet a Heat Wave will still KO a Kartana.
I'm actually kind of surprised how little that Drain Punch did from the Rillaboom. I know that it's not Stab, but Kartana's not the bulkiest Pokemon out there.
Reflect is up. And
oh, okay.
Yeah. That kind of. I also had that reaction of like, I thought Rillaboom was strong. Why did that Drain Punch
I'm sitting
do
here
nothing?
thinking like, man, this probably does pretty close to enough damage to get it down into the yellow, right?
Yeah, but and then I was like, oh, that's right, the screens are up.
Are these levels set right?
Level 100 Kartana, level 1 Rillaboom. But now, I mean, like, obviously Heat Wave's your move. I don't think that Kartana is Assault Vest. Oh, okay, it didn't go for Protect. Grassy Glide comes out to Grimmsnarl, crits to get the KO, which means a light screen is not coming up, even if that is what Bees went for. And if this Heat Wave connects, I mean, you can crit this Sacred Sword. Crit definitely would have done it. Heat Wave connects onto the Kartana. And yeah, with the Specs Tapu Fini, I think that's just going to be the game.
Yeah, Sandstorm goes away. I do think that is Assault Vest Kartana.
Yeah.
I have a strong hunch that it is.
Yeah, I would have guessed Focus Sash just because I see Escavlier with a lot of Assault Vest. That seems like the best item for it. But yeah, I would agree with you. Just because it didn't protect that turn.
Yeah.
I don't see why you wouldn't if you had it, or so I would guess Assault Vest as well.
They could be running like Citrus Berry on Escavalier or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And now I just like this. I assume that this Tapu Fini is specs. It'd still be really good for to scout it, but you can't, like, if you lock in a Moonblast. There's the Muddy Water misdrive. I mean, not that it like. I mean, like, I guess you could have got an accuracy drop, and you could have dodged Grassy Glides, but like I think it would have taken a lot of Muddy Waters to take down this Rillaboom.
I agree, and that actually does a lot less damage there from the Grassy Glide than expected. And again, well, I guess they never got Reflect up, right? Or no, they didn't. They
never got the light screen up. Yeah,
they didn't get light screen up.
Yeah. So, yeah, I really like this move a lot. Banditi's in a position where they can just win the game. I mean, like, even if they get like the most insane hacks. Let's see if there's an accuracy drop on Rillaboom. No, there's not. Confirm the item on Tapu Fini just to make sure.
Let's see it. It is
there.
Specs.
It is. There are the choice specs. Got those fly glasses to do the damage output.
There we go.
Hopefully coming soon to the ATX VGC merch store. Don't quote me on that.
They're like $350.
Yeah.
Some Maui gyms.
Yes, I would like to confirm we have no plans for choice specs. That was a joke from me. I do not want to put pressure on the people that actually do work here. I just play the game and make jokes.
CD,
and that's.
Thank you for the follow.
Yeah, that's gonna be GG. So really good adjustment from Banditti. Really banking on the fact that your Celesteela would survive and be able to return, get the KO on the Zapdos in return. And then once Dynamax was reserved, it was just good old switching and positioning to really like win the game well.
Yeah.
But the scary thing here, and let me know if you agree with this, Nibs. After you've revealed the weakness policy offensive Celesteela, I'd say that like Bees could just pretty safely like if there's fake out pressure, just protect the Zapdos, and then next turn fake Tears Max Lightning, or not even target the Zapdos, or not even target the Celesteela, target like the Grimmsnarl or something like that.
Yeah, I agree. The only thing that I'm kind of concerned with that would be like a max Steel Spike into the into the Grimmsnarl, but at the same time, like, does that really matter? And then turn, like, the Grimmsnarl is going to take at least one of them, right?
Yeah.
So if it takes at least one, then turn 2 you just fake Tears Max Lightning, and I mean, then there's no way to get around the Zapdos.
Mm-hmm. It may go down to I haven't played with a Grimmsnarl in a super long time. They constantly feel like they're bulkier than they should be. Every time I'm like, this'll KO for sure. It lives with like 1 HP.
Yeah.
So maybe it could survive an unweakness policy boosted Celesteela Max Steel Spike. But I imagine that both players are going in with the mentality of like, okay, we both know that the same turn one won't happen exactly the same, so we're both gonna adjust and then we'll figure out the game from there. Oh, and the Heatran swap, yeah, that was really good.
Yeah, that turned a guaranteed KO into that slot into like 20 damage. That was an awesome
steal
switch.
resist.
Yeah.
All right. He's sticking with the Zapdos Grimmsnarl lead. I don't see much of a reason to change it up from that either. Like, it's Zapdos does do a lot of work against this team.
Yeah, so I think it's pretty obvious here that Banditti is most likely just going to go for the fake out from the Rillaboom. Do you think that Zapdos max guards here? Do you think that's the way to do it?
I actually don't think Zapdos max guards. I think that they may go for an Airstream onto the Rillaboom. Did we get a follow, Nibs?
Let me see. Yeah, thanks for the follow, Otavio 5059.
Yeah. Nice. All right,
I
Max.
think you're right. So the fact that you have to proc the weakness policy in order for Rockfall to KO, I think you're absolutely right. You clear off the Rillaboom for the remainder of the game. It makes it that much harder for Banditti to get the KO into the Tapu Fini in the end game. I think that's the way to do it. So the fake out does come from the Rillaboom into the Grimmsnarl. It's actually going to be a Volt Switch from the Zapdos.
Oh, I love it. Volt Switch Zapdos.
But we do see the Celesteela Dynamax, so let's see what we are going to see get switched in here. Probably something that resists Rock, if I were to guess. And it is going to be the Escavalier, so that's
nice. Cool. Very cool. But Banditti made the switch up, and you said Steel Spike into the Grimmsnarl, and it does pick up the KO. Yeah, stay awake, DJ Prime. We're up next. You can fall asleep halfway through the match if you want. I'll take it.
Just let the computer pick turns.
And you know what we get, Nibs?
What's that?
We get a good old-fashioned Beesh Boosh.
I love it. Where's chat right now?
Yeah, where's Adam? Give us that Beast Boost. Yeah.
Boost. The ATX VGC with the Beast Boost.
This is the only time I'm gonna say something like this, but can we get some Beast Boost in the chat? Okay. Tapu Fini gonna come out. Interesting switch in. B's probably wanting to preserve that Zapdos for as long as they possibly can. And yeah, this is kind of like an interesting position. You have Specs Tapu Fini, but I don't think it can take a Grassy Glide. Something like a Rockfall and a Grassy Glide into that spot, maybe trying to bait it. Zapdos does switch in. Escavalier Dynamaxes.
This looks like it's gonna be fun.
Oh, cause Nibs, you know what it can do? It can max Flutter by the Rillaboom to reduce the special attack of the Celesteela.
Okay, I like that a lot. The only problem is, though, that the Escavalier is most likely the slowest thing on the field, so that's not really going to take effect until next turn.
Yeah. In a max Airstream, if that was into the Zapdos, I think that does... Oh, it barely survives. Yeah, that is a lot of damage. I don't know if Zapdos is going to be able to, like, seal in victory for Bees after taking that much. Flutterby coming out into the Rillaboom. Escavalier is crazy strong, so that does just pick up the KO.
That just killed like five Rillabooms.
Yeah. Yeah, Adam, Escavalier, Ferrothorn, and Torkoal all have the same speed stat, which I think is base 20. I know that the actual in-game speed at level 50, if your min speed is 20, so... But something very scary just came onto the field. That Heatran is very troublesome. Oh, and Greedent's that same speed stat. Interesting.
What about Guzzlord?
Okay, so I don't know. Like Heat Wave. Okay, Zapdos is still faster than Heatran. Oh wait, no. Then Zapdos is still faster than Celesteela at +1, which is really great news for the end game. You can switch in, you break the Focus Sash, switch in the Tapu Fini. It depends on a lot. Heatran goes for Heat Wave. It's Aqua Berry.
Well, that makes sense. And that still does a lot of damage for resistant berry.
Into Dynamax and through spread, manages to survive it. Max Rockfall is going to go into what was the Zapdos, is now the Tapu Fini. Wow, that doesn't do a lot of... That does not nearly as much damage as I thought it would. And I do know that Escavlier carries ground coverage, and it is a Max Quake into the Heatran.
Wow. These two players are doing wonderfully.
Yeah. This Escavalier turns. I honestly thought like, oh, this Escavalier is going to be in a lot of trouble, but it turns out to be like the adjustment that Bees needed to kind of put them in the driver's seat. Banditi's still not out of this yet. They still have their own Grimmsnarl. Celesteela is at neutral and has a speed boost. Dynamax is over, so maybe something like a fake Tears into the Tapu Fini. And a Flash Cannon could get them another special defense boost. But the issue is with the Fire type Gaunt, Escavalier is going to be really hard to break through.
Yeah, but the Air Slash from the Celesteela, if it can get a fake Tears boost from the Grimmsnarl, could do a lot of damage into the Escavalier. I know that's kind of a lot to ask and probably one or two turns away. But that is kind of something that they might want to think about. Also, can this Grimmsnarl take any steel type attacks from this Escavalier? I know it can't take a steel spike.
Yeah, unless it's Babiri Berry, I don't think it's going to be able to take a steel spike from a Escavalier of all things. Celesteela is setting up the Meteor Beam for once Escavalier is out of Dynamax, getting the special attack boost. Steel Spike coming out into the Grimmsnarl. This is definitely going to get the knockout. Yeah, Grimmsnarl goes down. That was not the Babiri Berry. And now with Escavalier at +1 special defense, Tapu Fini at full health, and Zapdos still outspeeding the Celesteela, I think it is possible for Celesteela to like 1v3, but it's going to be very, very difficult.
Well, the good thing for Bees here is that they know exactly what Banditti is going to do this turn, as they went for... Yeah, so there you go. You can just protect yourself from the Meteor Beam by protecting. Unless, of course, it went into the other slot. Muddy Water does come out from the Tapu Fini, and Celesteela does actually get to dodge.
That was a risky Specs lock-in. Maybe they were worried about Grimmsnarl surviving, but I mean, you still have Zapdos in the back, and that's a great example of why before Dynamax was a thing, people didn't really run the 2-turn moves.
Yeah, I think going for Muddy Water was pretty safe. I know it does miss, but it's consistent. There's the Air Slash doing probably about 20% to the Escavalier. Muddy Water does come out, and it is going to land this time around.
Yeah.
That does about 20% as well. No drops. Iron Head comes out, does chip damage to the Celesteela.
Yeah, I imagine it went for Iron Head because the other moves are Mega Horn and Drill Run, one of which is 4 times resistant, one of which is immune, so Iron Head was the best move there. And I'd say that like with that amount of chip, Celesteela is in range of anything that Zapdos can do. And the only way I think Banditti can win this is if they get the KO on Tapu Fini this turn. Oh, Guild VGC, thank you so much for the raid. We appreciate it.
Thanks, Guild VGC. And we do see the boost, as you were probably just about to talk about.
And I think the only way...
Kira Kennedy PBD, thanks for the follow.
Yeah, we're probably going to get a few of those. You want to take those names?
I can take those. I'm actually pretty good when it comes to...
actual streamer stuff.
No, I wouldn't say that. I did just miss one though, I think.
So, unless the
So and L, thanks for the follow.
So unless Zapdos and Celesteela were speed tying on that Volt Switch turn, it's definitely in range of. I don't know what the other electric moves are.
Wobbington, thanks for the follow.
I love that name, Wobbington. That's a great name. I'd say like it's definitely a range of a Volt Switch, and I would assume that Zapdos also has Thunderbolt. We saw Thunderbolt, yeah, there's a Thunderbolt. It wasn't a speed tie, and if it was, Zapdos just won it again, and that gets the knockout on Celesteal. But that was a really great game 3.
Yeah, so I do want to just say real quick before we give a quick analysis that the name Wobbington reminds me of like that song from back in the day where I was like wobble dee wop wobble wobble wop.
We don't want to get caught. We don't get any copyright.
I'm sorry if that was too close to get copyright.
Well, if you're accurate enough, like I can say like that's a good song, and now we've only used 30 seconds of it in the official review, so it's fine.
Yeah.
But
anyway, back to this game.
Yeah, great games from both players. The weakness policy Celesteal lead, anticipating the survival on the Zapdos, and then just really good positioning from Banditti in game 2 was great. And the Escavlier adjustment, although that I thought that it was really bad in this matchup, turned out to be like the winning strategy.
Yeah, so I will say though that one thing that we as a team say more than anything, and I think it's more of like I mean it's you three that I'm here with tonight that kind of mention it more than anything, and you've kind of opened my eyes up to it, is like mitigating the damage and like making it as minimal as possible. And a great example of that is this set that you guys just watched, like these players making the switches that they made and clicking the moves that they picked. I mean, they put themselves in the best position that they felt they possibly could have, and I feel like they did exactly that. They did a great job against one another tonight, and that was a well fought match.
Yeah, really well fought, and it definitely had like potentials to just like go either way, and that was a really great best of 3 to watch.